Hi. So it was January 2019 and I was in Fort Lauderdale and it was throwing it down with rain. And I was standing in the middle of a car park thinking, oh my gosh, what on earth am I doing here? I actually live in Italy, so I'd flown over for a conference that was in Orlando. And 2 weeks prior to this, I'd phoned up my friend Karen Roumet and I said, look, for some reason, I've got these 3 days that I'm over here and I've, got nothing to do. Do you want to meet up? And she says, well, if you want to meet up, you'll have to go to this conference with me. And I said, oh, all right then, I'll do that. It's really rare that I have 1 day free, let alone 3 days. So that was already really strange. So I thought, okay, so I was going to go to this conference. This was run by a lady called Burge Smith-Lyons. Now, I just went in thinking this was a normal management course. So anyway, in I go, and this very normal hotel room, hotel conference hall, and I'm going in and I'm seeing this lady and she's got these silver sparks sort of flying out of her head. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I been drinking or what have I been eating? I don't drink, so it wasn't drink. But anyway, so I thought, oh my gosh. Anyway, I went in and we did this conference and it started out just like a normal management conference would. But what happened was that I actually, on the second day, it was all really weird for me. I was not spiritual in the least. If you'd have met me in the Christmas, the December before this, you'd have seen a very, very normal person, not spiritual at all, hadn't a clue what a chakra was, had no idea what Reiki was, nothing. If somebody has said to me, okay, I'm spiritual, I would say, great, that's fine. I was very into, whatever's good for anybody, if everybody feels, that's fine by them. But it wasn't okay for me because I didn't believe in that sort of thing. So, but, it's live and let live, so that would be fine. Anyway, so I'm in this conference hall and I come into collision with a first really important spiritual trigger, which is the people. Okay, you can stay near very spiritual people and suddenly things happen. Anyway, as you can imagine, the coincidences of me having some time off, of these people, most of the people that I was actually there and met that day weren't supposed to be there. I met Robin, she was supposed to be doing something else. Gaia, she was not going to be coming to this specific conference, but she ended up coming. Then there was Samora, she'd flown down from New York, and again, it was actually her son's birthday, so, she wasn't supposed to be there at all. And then Pam. And then, of course, the people who were actually there, which was the teacher, which was Burge Smith-Lyons. Then there was Karen, who obviously was my friend and who'd sort of introduced me here. And there was also a guy called Michael, who was very instrumental in all of this. So what happened was I get into this room and it's the evening. We do this thing called the blocks game. And I'm busy thinking, oh my gosh, I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I don't want to do this. But anyway, I thought, well, I'm here. I've just got to throw myself into it and just do it anyway. Anyway, the room started feeling really weird. It started sort of spinning a bit. And then I remember that we were all in this sort of circle, and I can't even really remember why we were in this circle or anything to do with it. But suddenly I was out of my body. I was flying around the room. I was looking down on all these people and I was thinking it was totally normal. And as one does, when one is not spiritual, has never had any of these sort of things happen to them before. But for me, it just seemed totally normal. So I thought, okay. So there I was, flying around, looking down on people. I could see they were all different colours. Some of them looked like they'd had these sort of squares above them. It was all sort of very surreal. It was totally out of a sci-fi film. Absolutely. So there I was, sort of flying around, quite happily looking at everything and thinking that this was absolutely wonderful. And and suddenly this sort of voice came through me, but literally through me. I wasn't listening to it. It was actually coming through me. And basically what it was this sort of voice, and said, "What would you like to know?" And suddenly that sort of clicked me back into reality. And I think, well, I'm not hearing this voice, but I know it's speaking to me and I know what it's saying. And gosh, shouldn't I get straight back to my body, because that looks surprisingly like my body down there. And so I thought, so I zoomed back down to my body. Anyway, I came sort of to in my body. I mean, I was sort of awake. I must have been awake all this time, but there I was. And I didn't know it at the time, but the energies and things were so strong, and there was such a vortex above me, above our group actually, that I was just, whoa, thrown, for a bit of a loop. And it was really funny, because I remember that Brad, Burge's husband, who was there, I was actually hiding behind this concrete pillar because the energies and things were so strong. And I remember him trying to pull me out from behind this pillar. I mean, it must be, I suppose, what people do when they're on drugs. I haven't actually done any drugs, so I'm not really entirely sure. But it was just absolutely amazing. And then everybody was telling me, "Oh, no, it'll calm down now. It'll calm down afterwards." But mine never did. And that was the very first of the spiritual triggers that I actually had. And I understood on some very sort of base level that if you were near these people who were very spiritual, you yourself would sort of rise up spiritually. And so, it was just, ever since then, I've always loved to be around really spiritual people, because I know that I'm going to have an even more enhanced feeling. I know as well, I live in Italy, and we actually have this retreat center in Italy. And I know that from sort of experience that people who were staying with me, they always used to want to come and do meditations with me, because they could feel more when they were around me, which I found really exciting, because obviously I'm on my journey and things like that, and that was great. Also, the second thing I realized, it's the place. When a place is really sort of spiritual, you can feel so much more. The retreat that we've got has actually been consecrated, and it's actually overlooked by the Church of the Mother Mary. And when you do meditations and things like that, you can really, really feel the difference. And so the second spiritual trigger that, I'd love to talk about is the place, and how much more you can feel in a really, really spiritual place. So I've been so lucky to have these spiritual people and these spiritual places. And Burge Smith Lyons actually does a spiritual trip to our village. She's actually doing one in March of next year. And we're actually doing a spiritual trip to Nepal in March. So that'll be really exciting. Sorry, the Nepal trip is in March, and Burge's trip to Italy is in May. And what's really, really exciting about both of these is just that it's going to have the really spiritual people there, and it's going to have the really spiritual places there. So it's just really exciting. So this is just going to be one of the first of various videos that I'm going to be doing on spiritual triggers and how they can really take your spirituality to the next level. So if you're interested in any of the things that we're doing, obviously I'll do some links below. But I look forward to speaking to you again and some of the other amazing sort of spiritual journeys and adventures that we've actually had. And hopefully you'll be able to share some of yours with us. So that would be really great. Anyway, have a wonderful time until hopefully we'll see you soon.